Hey everybody, my name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
Bob, can you believe it's our first anniversary?
52 weeks.
52 weeks.
Number 52.
Of the Camper Report Show.
They said we wouldn't last two.
And we've got a super special show today. So stay with us because this is
the Camper Report Show.
Sleeping on the short RV queen topper is as comfortable as sleeping at home. Now that we have the topper on there, it's made all the difference. It's really comfortable.
And the comfort comes from the fact that it's not too firm, nor is it too soft. It's kind of the right level of comfort for being out, especially when you're away from home.
And welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro here with Bob Zagami. And Bob, normally this is the time when I would say to you, and Bob, we sold more RVs this week than ever before, and you talk about it for 3 minutes.
Right.
And then I'd say, well, you know what? There's another campground opening in Florida, and you talk about it for 3 minutes. But today, totally different.
One story, 1 year anniversary, 52 weeks. This is our 52nd Camper Report Show.
Right. 5-2. 52. Okay.
Right.
So the thing is this would not have been possible without our good friend who we've never met until today.
Right.
And let's bring him in here now. He is our, let's give him a title. General manager and
He has a title.
producer, director, what else?
But he has a title.
What
It's
is
called
it?
Industry Liaison.
Industry liaison. is my
Industry
official-
liaison.
You didn't know
Official
that?
title.
I didn't know that.
He's very important guy.
Right.
We wouldn't even be here.
Right. If it wasn't for, now at least tell him his name.
Patrick Buchanan.
Say it louder so he can hear it.
Patrick Buchanan
Okay. Patrick,
from RV Life.
well, welcome to your show.
Welcome to my show. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So
it's good to finally meet you guys in person. I feel like, as we all say when we see somebody on video all the time, I feel like I know you, but yeah, I feel like I know you guys. It's great to actually meet you here.
And we're obviously much younger and better looking in person than we come across on the camera, right?
Remarkably.
Remarkable.
And it doesn't make us look any heavier at all.
No, not at all.
No,
Not at all.
no,
As we go like this. See, the thing, folks,
Why are we all?
but you know what, Bob? When we have our normal thing, you're in your place, I'm in my place, and our waists are hidden.
That's
But
right.
you know what? In full disclosure, we're not overweight.
We're not.
We are.
Right.
We
But-
are.
Well,
That
what
was
we
a-
call IRL, in real life.
In
right?
real life.
But
Okay.
that's the beauty of the desk. We can hide it under the desk. So we've been hiding all of this for 52 weeks. Nobody had any idea
Yeah.
what we were like.
But the guy who made it all possible is Patrick. And without Patrick's tutelage and assistance and technical expertise to make us look semi-good, we wouldn't have lasted 52 weeks.
Yeah, it was a challenge. No.
Cut. No, go ahead.
No, we got to get our business. No, the challenge was really for me taking initially before we had an editor, Chris Cowley, our great, fantastic
Without
video.
Christopher, we're all dead.
We're all dead.
We're all dead.
There is no show.
But for the first 10 or 12 weeks or so, I did the show myself. I edited it on my MacBook and I pieced it together to basically it let us all know that hey, there's something here. And we quickly handed the reins over to Chris. And of course, the work you guys do independently as you submit all that data to him, and Chris puts together a wonderful show. We've got some great sponsors. We've had help from YouTubers, and it's really been a lot of fun. It's been fun to get to know people in the industry, to have some great interviews by some industry leaders. And obviously we've met tons of great campers and RVers, and it's been a blast, and it's been fun.
And really the cool part about it is that you're an RVer yourself. So this is not just a job for you because you have what, a big diesel pusher, right?
I
Dutch
do.
Star?
I do. No, I've got a Tiffin Phaeton for all you
Oh,
Tiffin
okay.
fans. 43 feet with a tag axle, so it's a big boy. And
It is a big boy.
We, the wife and I, it's just her and I, Melissa, and our little dogs, and we run around, visit the grandkids and kids, and try to see a beach and a forest now and then. And we have a blast. We love it. She loves it more than I do. I mean, she would live in the thing if she could right now.
She could, but you won't let her?
It's not that I won't let her. I'm just not there yet. I'm just not ready to be a full-time RVer. But she would certainly spend a lot more time in there than we do, and we'll get there. We'll get there.
And one of the ways that you can get there is by taking advantage of RV life. And you know what? It says it on your shirt. It says it on the sign behind us. But tell us what RV life is, and especially tell us about the RV Trip Wizard, because everybody talks about it, and I've got to get to learn it better. But tell us about what it is.
Well, absolutely. And for those that might not know, I actually left a great career to work specifically for RV Life and Andy and the team because of RV Trip Wizard. So if you're driving a big rig or pulling a motorhome or travel trailer, anything where you want to plan that route ahead, plan your trip ahead of time, you need a way to sit down and understand that. You can't use Google. Google thinks you're driving 75 miles an hour.
Right,
That's
exactly.
That's not reality.
Right.
And Google can find things.
And you're only 6 feet tall.
Right.
Well,
Talk about that
and
for a
you're
second.
and you're only 6 feet tall. Google has no awareness of your height and weight and those types of things, and it assumes, like I said, you're driving 75 miles an hour, and it doesn't. You can find campgrounds with Google, but only if you know where to look. It doesn't show them to you automatically. So Trip Wizard, with its patent pending, maybe, I'm not sure about the patented, but with the driving rings, or we call the driving radius, and the campgrounds all built in. Of course, we own Campground Reviews, so all that data is inside RV Trip Wizard. It shows you, and you plug in your parameters, your height, your weight, your length, your propane status, and it shows you where you're going to be after a 6-hour drive or a 4-hour drive, or maybe you're a 300-miler or whatever the case may be. You set the parameters, you plug in your RV dimensions, and RV Trip Wizard is going to show you exactly where you're going to be on that route at the end of the driving day, and all the campgrounds around it. So with all that data, you know, and you can plan a trip, whether it's a 3-day trip, 3-week, 3-month. We've got full-timers that plan 3 years in advance, and fuel stops, rest stops, all of the data
Virtually
you need.
everything you need.
Need to plan a trip can all be done in Trip Wizard ahead of time.
And it is important. Bob alluded to it when he said 6 feet tall. The height of an RV is different than the height of a car. And
Much so.
The last thing you want to do is be driving somewhere, it's late at night, and you've got a Class A diesel pusher like yourself, and you see a railroad sign bridge saying clearance 10 feet. With RV Trip Wizard, you don't put yourself into that circumstance.
I think every RVer has been in that situation where
I
they know their restrictions, but all of a sudden they wind up on a road that they're not familiar with, and they look at that sign that says 10-6. Now you have to hope that it's on a road that you can easily make a U-turn.
Right.
And that doesn't always happen. Because sometimes you have to back up for about 5 miles to get out of the situation. Doesn't happen with Trip Wizard.
No, and that's the beauty of Trip Wizard is being able to plan that all ahead of time and not having to worry about that. For those that don't plan, or they say, oh, we just like to wing it, that's where the RV Life app comes in.
Dangerous.
Well, it does, and so you need an app that can, if you're not a planner, you don't want to get on the computer and plan, great. The RV Life GPS app does that same thing. You plug in your parameters and say, I just want to go here, and it gives you the RV directions. So we've got you covered on both sides, whether you're a planner or sort of an ad hoc.
A winger.
A winger,
Well,
yeah.
You know, we want to thank you for joining us today, because this is not our typical show. It is our 1-year anniversary show. We wouldn't be here without you guys, so we want to thank you and Andy and the entire RV Life team, because the show has just blown by. And,
Time.
We're having so much fun with it
Yep.
that 1 year seems almost impossible. But that's where we are this week, and we wanted to share that with you.
Right, and one of the things that we should note, because you said you have a Tiffin Phaeton. Okay, we've done several interviews with Bob Tiffin, but the biggest interview, one of the biggest interviews that we're going to show today, is Bob's interview with Bob Martin right after they acquired Tiffin.
Yeah.
And now Tiffin is part of the Thor family. Bob's going to be sharing that. And the other thing that is sweeping the RV world is e-bikes. So we've got a segment on that coming up. So,
There was also one of our most popular segments.
right, exactly, both of those.
So it's a special anniversary show.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. It's been great to be here. Happy to be at the Hershey Show. Thank you.
We will be back with those great stories and more right after this on
The Camper Report Show.
I'm Jesse from Outsiders Calling, and I love adventurous family travel with my wife Jenny and our son Tucker.
For over 3 years, we've RV'd across the U.S. and Mexico, and it's tough to find places that meet all our needs.
Now we plan our trips with the RV Trip Wizard. Pull it up in the RV Life app, select it, and go.
It helps us discover amazing new places to grow together as a family.
RV Trip Wizard with the RV Life app is an awesome trip planning combination.
You can get both for one low annual price. Check out rvlife.com to learn more.
Okay, welcome back everybody to the Camper Report Show, and today I have a special guest in Bob Martin, the president and CEO of Thor Industries, which made a little bit of news lately. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bob. Always glad to be on. Good to see you. Wish it was in person.
Yeah, I wish I was in Florida. Yeah, I wish. I get the snow and the ice. You get the good stuff.
Yep.
You made news the last couple of weeks with the acquisition of Tiffin, as you added another company, operating company under the Thor umbrella. Tell us a little bit about it and how it came about and what excitement it portrays for you.
Yeah, just for us, I think for everybody in the industry, the Tiffin name, being 48-year-old company, unbelievably highly regarded, Bob Tiffin, the family, the product, loyal following of customers, and for us, it's one that I honestly didn't ever pursue, and because I was kind of told through dealers that until Bob's ready, he's not going to do anything, and so as just a compliment to him, I never even asked, and so it was about in August, late July, I had a text from Van that Bob would like to talk to me, and if I would like to talk to him, and I didn't hesitate. I think we talked early the next morning to Van, and then I actually talked to Bob while I was on an RV trip up in the UP, and it was all very quick. Just they had interest, and if we had interest, we look at the cultural fit. We lined up a trip to Red Bay with my executive team. For us, we don't always involve brokers if we don't need to, and kind of can keep it a lot quicker. And that's for Bob. That was a big thing for him. Just he wanted, if he was going to do this and he felt comfortable, he wanted it to happen rather quickly. And Bob, he is a man of his word, and it was a struggle for him to not tell people. And it's one of the things I wanted to explain on your show, because even to a lot of the customers, people heard the rumor, and we legally can't admit it until it's closed. And even for Bob, he called me one night. He's like, Bob, I can't lie. And I said, I totally understand. I said, but you don't have to lie. You just don't admit anything.
Don't answer the question.
And and it happens to me every time. And I said, I'm not a good liar either, but my, our legal team, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
So it's hard. And that was probably the trickiest thing for, a man of his character to not let it out. So once we finally announced, I think there was a lot of relief. Bob's back on his phone. They took last week off, but he's back to work today, and he's doing what Bob did. I'm not going to be there this week. I'll probably go in a few weeks just to kind of check in and see how things are going and look at, big picture things. But Tiffin is going to remain, managed the same way that Bob has managed them for many years. Tim, Van, Lee, they all want to be involved. They like the future opportunities that they have just in going through other RV factories, and just ways that they can learn. But then I've been very open as I sit down with my executive team and our presidents. I think we can all learn a little bit about customer service from Bob Tiffin. And he's legendary.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the things that when people look at an acquisition like this, they look at the giant corporation buying the small company, and they immediately think bad things. But I've known you for a long time and watched you grow, Thor. I remember when Wade and Peter started the company with Airstream. they don't understand. I don't think the consumers a lot understand your management style, but go into that because you really got, I think this is your 17th brand. You got 17 different companies, but go into your style.
Yeah, and so the best way to think about Thor, we're the parent company of, it's about 18 different company names, and you know, in the U.S. and Europe, and we don't. And then I'll go back to Jayco. You know, Jayco is one that we bought. It was literally 2 miles from my house, and you know, Daryl and Wilbur, we weren't going to do a big press conference or anything. We just said, we just don't need it. And people that know them know that they don't need, you know, the limelight. But it became apparent that it was a bigger story than any of us thought. So I ran out to Middlebury and we did our interviews. And I can remember some of the early questions, even locally, is, well, how many plants are you going to shut down? And we all laughed. We're like, why would we shut down plants? Well, consolidation. Well, that's not what we do. We consolidate, but typically we grow the companies. And I always share the story of how I came to the company through Keystone. And then Keystone was bought by Thor, and I was nervous. I mean, you don't know. There's always the fear of the unknown. But I've watched steadily Thor buy companies, and just kind of we're like a big easy bank that helps them achieve their goals. And we're all experienced in the industry, and now you've got this, you know, they become part of a group of presidents that you know, all range of ages and backgrounds, and our guys call and they ask questions of each other. They help each other, and it's something that you know, you now have a new resource to help guide the company. You know, as the business is going to change, and the more we work together.
Talk. You glossed over that Keystone. Talk about what you were doing in business when Thor bought you. And a lot of people think, well, close the plants, close this, lay off these people. Where is Keystone today because of Thor Industries?
It's not because of Thor. I mean, I'm proud that I go back to Keystone and I still get to go. And so I went to corporate, and I'm corporate, but I get to go down to Goshen and see the teams there. And I still know, you know, a lot of the people that are there. Jeff Runnels, who is president of Keystone, I hired as a salesman at Cougar years and years ago. So it's been fun to watch people grow within the different Thor companies. But what I watched, I mean, Keystone was probably when Thor bought them, and within several years they were well over $1 billion, and now they're definitely one of our largest subsidiaries. And I just watched Keystone, because they've got such a great team, perform at a high level, and we simply help support them. And when they have, you know, new ideas for a new factory or a new technology, a new website, we help them fund all these things. And it's really quite easy. You know, there are some meetings and we like to be updated. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're all doing things a little bit differently. And we like that. We like the fact that, you know, a Keystone is not a Jayco. And then you have the ultimate, Airstream. Airstream is just, there's nothing, it's more like an airplane company than it is an RV when you watch them put that together. And, you know, and what we did for them, Bob Wheeler, he thanked me at the dealer meeting 2 years ago for writing the biggest capital expenditure authorization in Thor history of over $50 million to build a new plant. And they are now in that plant. It has a heritage museum that goes all the way back to the history of Wally Byam. And it's not all about Thor, it's about Airstream. And so we help the companies grow, and, you know, many times they have aggressive plans, conservative plans, but we do help them grow. And I take pleasure in watching, you know, some of our managers, and I've got one of my managers who grew up in the Northeast there in New Hampshire, Mr. Koltukian, and he worked with me as a trainee at Coachman. He worked with me as one of the first Montana reps at Keystone. And as he just evolved in his growth, he is now president of KZ and has been there for several years. So that's something that other companies just can't allow. They don't have, you know, those opportunities. And it's a great example of Aram. We were just at lunch 2 months before KZ became for sale. And he said, if something like KZ ever came open, I would love to do that. And things just fall in place. And then you add in Europe. A lot of our people, when you can travel, when COVID goes away, but we had a lot of people go to Europe just to learn and see new products and new features. And I think for many years, that's just another opportunity. And even the Tiffins were very excited to go to Europe and see how, caravans, RVs are made over there. So it's just something that we have to offer that the others simply don't.
Yep, and you've mentioned the word opportunity several times, and when I ran into you at Caravan Salon in 2019, you had just acquired Erwin-Heimer Group, which was a phenomenal nameplate, but a phenomenal company through Europe. So now you've got the flavor of Europe, you got the flavor of the United States. We run 80% towables here, 20% motorized. You go to Europe, it's completely opposite. It's 20% towables and 80% motorized. Give us your global take on that marriage and that integration.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things, not just in the RV world, but you find a lot of trends will start in Europe, Germany, Italy, and the trends take time to get to the United States. And the same thing is true in the RV industry, and the trend towards smaller motorized. We see some opportunities there. And you've got, some of your bigger suppliers such as Mercedes and Fiat, Peugeot, all based in Europe. And the Heimer Group was their number one customer. And so for us, we just saw opportunities for products, the way they're put together, opportunities for our people to grow. They would like people to come work over in Europe, and we would like Europeans to come work in the US and teach us more on automation. Automation is something that, Airstream is heavily involved in, but Europe is very much involved in it in every one of their plants. And we see opportunities there that, that equates into efficiency, but also quality. So there's a lot of that. And then technology. I mean, I think we all know the world's going to change here and probably sooner than we think or want. And you hear a lot about electric vehicles, a lot of battery technology. It's coming quicker in Europe. When you look at the Netherlands, in 2 years, cars will not be able to be sold if they are not electric. So it's coming quicker over there. So we're using that knowledge because it's only a matter of time that it will be here, and it'll be generators, it'll be engines, and it's going to be sooner than later. The full autonomous, I don't know. That'll be the interesting. I don't know. They actually have a video in Europe where you put on a VR mask and you get in your RV, set your address, and you fall asleep and wake up at the beach. That's still a ways out for me. I don't know how well I'd sleep, but
no desire for that. But it's going to be an exciting ride. You can guarantee that, and I'm sure Thor will continue to grow. And you're up over $8 billion now, so pretty soon you'll be at $10 billion, and you'll still be having fun. Look, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on the Camper Report Show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and continued good luck in 2021. And I'm sure hopefully I'll run into you down the road a little bit.
Yep, I'll be back in Indiana next week. So we've got ice storms and all that fun stuff. So my wife, she enjoys South, and I go back to where we have 200 factories in northern Indiana. So it's hard for me to be gone too long. So
only 200, huh?
That's it. Yeah.
That's great. Bob, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it very much.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
And welcome back to this segment of the Kemp Report Show. My name is John DePietro, and you know what, folks? If you've watched this show enough, you know that we meet interesting RVers all over the country. And one of the activities that RVers are really getting into lately, more than ever before, is bicycling. But not just regular old bicycling. They are getting into e-bikes like never before. The fact is, e-bikes have been around in Europe for years and years and are just starting to make it big in America. And one of the reasons that they're making it big in America is because of the gentleman that is sitting right across from me here. His name is Don DiCostanzo, and the company is, Don, tell him.
Pedego.
Pedego. So you may have seen RVers in the campground. You may have seen them on the highway with the bike strapped to the back of the RV, whether they be a big toy hauler like we have here. And in that case, Don, right, you wouldn't have to put it outside. You could put it inside. But tell us about Pedego and tell us about the relationships that RVers have with Pedego, because I'm seeing more and more Pedegos at RV parks and actually all over the place.
So thanks, John, and thanks for having me on your show. The first thing I want to talk about is how Pedego got started. Pedego got started because me, a 50-year-old guy, loved to ride my bike, was tired of going up the hills, and therefore I gave up cycling. So I discovered the joys of an electric bike, and I bought 6 or 7 one year back in 2006, and I had a lot of fun riding them. So in 2007, I opened up a retail store in Newport Beach, California, to sell nothing but electric bikes. And I was frustrated because the companies that were making them really weren't committed to it. They didn't have the right styles, they didn't have the right colors, and most importantly, they didn't have any service to back them up. So in 2008, I sold my car wash business and started Pedego. I own 40 car washes. Sold that business and started Pedego from scratch, and struggled the first few years like most new companies do. People didn't quite get what electric bikes were all about. But once I got them exposed to them and got them to try them, we found all kinds of people buying, but mostly people 50 plus. A lot of RVers bought the bikes because they realized instead of towing a big rig behind them, they could throw a couple bikes on the back or put them inside
and
take
get
off.
Exercise.
And that's the most important part. So when you park at an RV park and you want to go explore the town or the city that you're in, you usually have to have another car. But if you have an electric bike, you really don't. It kind of substitutes that. It's kind of the cross between having motorcycles, having a car, or having bicycles. And bicycles are the only one that are going to give you a whole lot of fun, and more importantly, that's some exercise. But it not only stimulates you physically, it's got incredible mental stimulation because your mind is fully activated. As we get older, we tend to lose our balance. The more you ride a bike, the more you get your balance back. Right?
You bring up a very interesting point, and I think the thing that our viewers should point out and should be aware of is that when we say pedal assist, these are not, it is pedal assist. I want to get into that in a second, but these are not mopeds and they're not motorbikes. These are regular bicycles that you can drive as a bicycle if you want, or you can add a little bit of power to it so that there's the assist part. So somebody who may be getting on in age, like 60.
That's young today.
As we look back on 60 in the rearview mirror, these are perfect vehicles because they give you the capability for additional mobility, but the exercise factor, and again, you don't feel trapped in the campground anymore.
Right. You're going to get out and explore and see where you want. But even more importantly than that, it's something that gets you in with the community. The community, you're out riding a bike rather than driving around in a car. You get to see things you haven't get to see. We're parked right here now on the Cape Cod Seashore Trail, okay? We're parked on this fabulous trail that goes all the way from Bourne all the way up to Provincetown, I understand. And you can jump on this trail and ride. Park your RV right here in the parking lot, jump out, unroll them out and go. And this particular one is because it's got a garage in the back of it called a toy hauler. It's perfect for bikes. This will hold 8 bikes. So it's it sleeps 14 but only has 8 bikes. So I guess you could carry a few more on the back.
Exactly. And we should say we are in an RV. We are in a Thor.
It was born as a Thor Outlaw. It's a 2021 Thor Outlaw that we purchased and picked up in November. And we wrapped it, and it went on its maiden voyage to Gilbert, Arizona at the end of November. And since then, it's been on a road show, and it's been all over the South, the Texas, all the way down to the panhandle of Florida, deep into Florida, all throughout the South, up to Virginia. It was in New Jersey, and Pennsylvania last week. This week it was in New England, and it's heading back to Ohio next week.
Okay, so RVers, they don't, well, there's two different groups of RVers. The ones that are the weekenders that go out on a Friday, come back on a Sunday, and they take their bikes with them, and they might travel, you know, on Saturday is their day that they're at the park or at the place of their destination. Then there's the other type that are the full-timers that have the bikes. Now, how do you deal with the situation, business-wise, that if someone is from Massachusetts, they bought it right here, you know, in Yarmouth, Massachusetts, but now they are out in, for example, somewhere Texas or Oklahoma, and they find that they've got a little issue with the bike. What do they do then?
Well, first of all, I can tell you it's a lot easier than getting an RV fixed. So all you have to do is stop in one of the 175 stores that we have in the U.S. and Canada. And by the way, this doesn't depict all the stores. This is just the 80 stops we're making on this year. We have 175 locations. So if you don't see it on the map, we have them in Minnesota and throughout the whole country. We have 175 stores open right now. Any one of them are delighted to service it, to come in and take care of it and to help you out. I was just in Portsmouth, New Hampshire yesterday. An RVer was in there. His bike broke down. They gave him a loaner while they fixed his bike because they had to wait for a part, and he had a loaner. So something else you won't get in the RV industry.
You're not going to get that line about, well, you know what? Look it. We're in Houston, Texas. You bought that in Massachusetts. Go back there and get it fixed.
No way.
That's not going to be happening.
No, they love to. You're welcome in all 175 locations, no matter where you bought it.
Okay. Types of bikes. I have a lovely wife who said, oh, I don't feel as though I can ride a bike anymore because I'm afraid of falling. You had mentioned to me that there might be a solution to that, and there might be several other people that fall into that same category.
So most of the people that we offer our bikes to haven't ridden a bike in a long time. In fact, about 10% of the population are regular cyclists. The other 90% haven't ridden a bike in 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 years. Not unusual. They want to learn how to get back in riding. We don't recommend that they run out and buy a bike, anybody's bike, a Pedego or anybody else. Go out and test ride them, try them, because we make 18 different models. We make three-wheel models, we make folding bikes, we make full-size bikes, we make cruiser bikes, we make fat tire bikes, we make mountain bikes. It's like buying a pair of shoes. You can't, a pair of shoes.
No one size fits all.
No one size fits all. And everybody has a different leg size. They might be 6 foot tall, but they need a shorter bike because they have short legs. Or they might be 6 foot tall and they need a bigger bike because they've got long legs. So we recommend that they try them. Don't ever buy an electric bike and make an investment in an electric bike until you get a chance to try them. The beauty of what we offer is every one of our stores rents the bike. So you can rent them for an hour, 2 hours, a day, a week, a month if you want. You rent it, and typically it applies towards the purchase price if you rent them. So if you decide you want to buy one.
Okay. Yeah, it'll go right toward that.
Exactly.
So we're going to take some pictures of the actual bikes because we've got a big grand opening going on.
Yes, we're
right
here today. We're in Yarmouth, Massachusetts on Memorial Day. We're having a clam bake, a red, white, and blue clam bake. And we've invited all the customers that have bought bikes in the area to come in today. And I think we got almost 100 people scheduled to be here today. Never know with the weather. It's not exactly picture
perfect. We all have our winter
It's
clothes.
a bit on the chilly side, but it's not going to stop us from going out from having a great clam bike and taking a bike ride, maybe up to the local winery.
Okay, so that's a story. Pedego Bikes is the name of the bike. If you're an RVer, you know what? Look at go to Pedego Bikes.
Pedego.com.
Pedego.com, and they will send you a catalog, and I think the whole catalog is online as well.
You can get the catalog online. If you put your name in there, we're happy to mail you a catalog. Very few people do that today, but we have this 50-page or 70-page magalog that'll give stories about how people have used the bikes.
Magalog, folks. There's a new word. That's part magazine and part catalog.
Exactly.
Right? Magalog.
The very front of it is all magazine, and the back of it is all the catalog about it. It tells you about how far the bike will go, what the range will be. Any question you want to that you would ask is in this magalog. So yeah, it's Pedego. That's how you spell it. Pedego. And it's Pedego.com. And you can also find where all the stores are located on that map too, under Located Dealer.
Okay, so that is the story. My name is John DePietro. This is the Camper Report Show. His name is Don DiCostanzo. He's the big guy at Pedego.